Samuel was born and grew to become a great prophet and leader of Israel. The Philistines attacked Israel, and because of their pride, God allowed them to capture the Ark of the Covenant. God then defeated the Philistines on his own by hitting them with a bunch of plagues, which made the Philistines quite eager to return the Ark to the Israelites as quickly as possible. The Bible tells us coming out of Judges that everyone did what was right in his own eyes, so now Israel wanted a king to lead them. All the other nations had a king. Of course, Israel already had a king. God was their king. But it just wasn't the same as everyone else, and they wanted what everyone else had. Samuel was against this idea, but God told him to give the people what they wanted, and so Saul was chosen to be king. He was tall and strong and handsome. He looked like a good king. But it turns out he was dishonest, prideful, and disobeyed God's commands. Samuel confronted Saul with his sin, but Saul did not repent. So Samuel informed Saul that because of his disobedience, God was going to allow another king to come onto the scene. And so Saul's downfall began, and David arrived on the scene. You remember David. He confronted the giant Goliath, and God gave him victory over Goliath and the Philistines when David wasn't even in the army. David began his rise to power while Saul descends into madness, chasing David through the wilderness, trying to kill him. Eventually, Saul's killed in a battle with the Philistines, and David is made king. David might not have looked quite so much like a king as Saul did, but David trusted God. The first part of his reign as king was very successful. Battles won, cities conquered, a new capital city for Israel. The ark is moved into the city, and David is promised a lasting dynasty from the Lord. And then came Bathsheba. David messed up big time, committing adultery with Bathsheba, and then trying to cover up the adultery with a little bit of murder. And he thinks he's gotten away with it, until the prophet Nathan confronts him with his sin. And here's the important thing. David sees his sin and repents. That doesn't erase all the consequences for his sin, though. David's family and kingdom fall apart. Abuse, rebellion, and murder. God raises up another king, and David's son Solomon becomes king. Solomon is asked by God what he wants, and Solomon tells God that he wants wisdom to lead God's people. God is pleased with this request and grants it, along with fame and wealth. Solomon wrote down hundreds of wise proverbs to instruct his children and help them grow in the Lord. These proverbs have been really great to read through with our 4 boys and to dig into. And Solomon picks up where David left off with the preparations for the temple, and he builds a temple for the Lord. But as soon as it gets done being built, Solomon starts making some really bad choices. He marries hundreds of women from all over the place, many of them for political reasons, and he picks up the gods of all of these women and introduces the Israelites to the worship of these foreign gods. Solomon takes his focus off of the Lord and off of teaching his family about the Lord. At the end of his life, Solomon realizes that fame and fortune are all vanity, and loving God and obeying his commands is so much better than anything else that he could be doing. Unfortunately, Solomon's son Rehoboam, who took the throne next, was evil, and his greed for power led to the split of Israel into the northern and southern kingdoms.